Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadline so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Why were you talking to her?
Buffy, come on, we were just saying hi.
Yeah, that's what she wants you to think.
Buffy, this has to stop. I mean, I get it. I have a sucky roomie too, but you just have to deal.
You're right. I've been thinking a lot about this, and it's clear to me now.
Good. That's better.
Kathy's evil. I'm an evil fighter. It's simple. I'm gonna have to kill her.
And welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review and our reactions. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 2, titled Living Conditions. Directed by David Grossman, written by Marty Noxon. The original air date was October 12th, 1999, to an audience of 5.64 million people. And I gotta say, Vance, I think that I was a little bit correct on my prediction from last time.
In my note, I wrote, Joe called it.
I was a little bit correct.
You called it 100%. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, he got this right. Our predictions, I have to say, for this series have been...
They've been getting better.
Good. We've been pretty good.
Better.
We've been hitting stuff. I mean... I called the Giles Joyce thing, you know?
This didn't happen the way that I thought it was going to happen, but it happened.
Yeah. And I'm like, they planned that out for the first two episodes?
Yeah.
But sure, yeah.
But before we get into the episode, everybody, just a reminder, join our Discord. It's a lot of fun in there. We chat about the episodes, chat about the podcast, and join our Patreon where we are reviewing Angel, Boys Watching Angel for $5 a month, and then Boys Watching Angel and a movie a month. And we're having a good time over there. It's a good shit.
Yeah.
So I think those are all the plugs that I got.
Do we have any shout outs to give?
Oh my God. We have any shout outs? Let me see.
Real time checking. See, we care. We care.
We're doing this on this show live for you. Not because we are bad hosts, but
not because we came unprepared.
Oh, we do have a shout out here, Vance.
Nice.
A new one for Callie Math Teacher. Thank you so much for Callie Math Teacher that gave us a 5-star review. And we really appreciate it. It says that they don't listen to many podcasts, but really enjoy our podcast.
Wow.
So yeah, Callie Math Teacher, thanks so much. Really appreciate that very nice review.
To be someone's like first or starting podcast, their few podcasts they listen to, it's pretty high praise.
Yeah, that's an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, Callie Math Teacher. You ready to get into it here, Vance?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So this episode starts with like an incredibly long recap of the last episode.
Are you watching these on Hulu?
Yes.
Okay, I am too, and there doesn't seem to be a skip.
No, there isn't. Like on Amazon Prime, you can skip the recap, skip the intros.
Yeah.
This does not have that.
Yeah, I definitely manually skipped and had to go back and go forward a couple times. But I was like, I don't need the recap.
Yeah, I manually skipped some of the stuff too, and I had to go back. It's whatever. But it is a lot. Like, the recaps for the end of the season last season where they were doing Faith and like the mayor were shorter than this recap of one episode of Buffy looking confused at college. Like,
I was like,
this recap.
I was like, are they showing it's the guy that she dropped the books on his head even in this episode? Like, why is he a part of the recap?
Well, yeah, I know a little something about this guy coming up because somebody spoiled some shit for me a long time ago.
Yeah, we're going to get little small spoilers like that are going to just happen when you're in this world. But
yeah, he's not in this episode at all. Yeah. Which is like, oh, okay.
But they showed him in the flashback, so you know he's a player.
Yeah. So the actual episode opens up with Kathy and Buffy in their room. And Kathy is blasting Cher. Do you believe in love? Down, 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 down. And Buffy is very unhappy. Yeah, Buffy does not believe.
She's like, you're playing this again. And I gotta say, I'm a person that will listen to a new song a little bit on repeat when it first comes out. But headphones, like I'll rock it a bunch, but I'm not blasting it.
Yeah, and like we talked about it last episode where it's like Kathy was putting up her Celine Dion thing and Buffy looked like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But like if this is what's gonna be happening, obviously that's gonna be a problem. If she's gonna be blasting the same song over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And dude, when that song came out, that song was massive.
That song was everywhere.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a good song.
Yeah. Yeah, it has like it gets you moving in a weird way. Like it was definitely like that club song of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But
I mean
to blast that just randomly in the dorm room like middle day.
Yeah, it's just like ironing your jeans. Yeah. Kathy's ironing her jeans to this song, and I don't know, man, that song does hold up still today, which is saying something because a lot of this music from 99 definitely does not.
It's also like funny though to listen to it too.
Oh yeah, like there's a little ironic nature to it, but it is still a fucking banger. Like it's kind of like Smooth by Santana. Like there's a lot of ironic love for it, but if you put it on, that song is sick.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that hate that Cher song though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Kathy wants to be a little bit like strict about like logging phone calls. I don't know if they have like minutes or something.
This is like this is like 99, 2000, right? Like long distance phone calls, you had to log. Like long distance phone calls cost money at a certain point. I forget when that stopped, but it's around this time that it starts stopping. But if you're calling from your dorm, it's like you're just calling most dorms have a 4-digit phone number. You can call any other room. Yeah. That's how ours was set up. And if you're calling home, you don't have to pay. I don't know why you have to log phone calls.
I don't know what was going on with that, but then I also like wasn't in college in 1999. And like when I was in college, we had cell phones. So I was just like, whatever. But Kathy is being very anal about logging the phone calls on a piece of paper to keep track of them. And then she finds out that Buffy stole some of her milk for her coffee. And Buffy's like, sorry, I just kind of figured you wouldn't mind. And Kathy's like, oh, I did notice though. I did notice some of my milk was missing.
Did you share a mini fridge or did you have two mini fridges? I can't remember.
See, I had a different situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a gigantic fridge. I was living with 5 people.
Yeah. So you never did the one room, one roommate?
No. Well, in the frat house I did. But once again, everybody, I was not in a frat. I don't want you to make these conclusions about me.
Yeah, but you have all the frat boy traits. You have all of them.
Except for drinking.
Except for drinking. That's the only thing that sets you apart.
Except for drinking. And I don't dress like a frat guy. I am wearing a lacrosse tank top right now, but whatever. I think that I had my own mini fridge because you had to bring your own at that point. And then after living in the frat house, I lived off campus and definitely had my own mini fridge. But Buffy and Kathy are sharing a mini fridge, and Buffy stole some of Kathy's milk, and Kathy's like, interesting.
Yeah.
Noticed that. So then Buffy and Willow are walking around on campus, and neither of them like their roommates. Buffy's like, yeah, let's get her Kathy. She wants me to log her phone calls, and I stole some of her milk, but whatever. She's still a bitch. And Willow's like, yeah, I don't really like mine either, but don't worry about it. It'll all figure itself out. And they walk by, and then in the bushes, there's this like Sith Lord looking guy with a black hood and like scarred face and glowing eyes and all this shit. And
I was like, man, this campus is rough.
Yeah, dude.
Like, how are we? Like, they weren't like tracking that when they were like 5 miles away looking for like demons and stuff. Get out of the graveyard, patrol the college campus. Like, dude, my God.
And University of Maryland's a big school, and even that doesn't cover that much ground, but there's demons all over the place on this campus.
Dude, this is a little bit later, but there are dudes walking around with guns.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, man. This place is crazy.
Yeah. So Buffy's like, all right, well, I'm going to drop you off at your dorm, Willow, and I'm going to go on patrol. And Willow's like, all right, cool. And I was like, wait, doesn't Willow go on patrol with Buffy sometimes? I guess Willow had to study or something.
My thing is drop Willow off at the door anytime you're walking with her. Like,
yeah. Don't turn your back on her until she gets inside.
Yep.
So Buffy is like, all right, I'm going to go on patrol. Don't worry. I told Kathy that I was going to go get a coffee, and she won't bother us. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, who shows up but Kathy? Comes up from behind Buffy. Buffy's like walking through some bushes, and she's like, all right, I hear whoever's behind me, whatever kind of thing you are. Let's come out and let's do this dang thing. And Kathy jumps out and she's like, hey, how's it going? You said you were going to go get a coffee, and, I just want to come and keep you company. It's going to be fun. And Buffy's like, fuck.
And this one, I was like, I kind of want to see the coffee scene and see if they actually find any common ground.
Yeah, because like thus far, there's no reason for Buffy to like really despise Kathy aside from, liking Cher, which is like a minor offense, but
yeah.
So Kathy's like, yeah, I thought I'd keep you company. And as she's talking to Buffy, like the glowy-eyed Sith Lord jumps out of the bushes, and Buffy pushes Kathy into another bush, fights this glowy-eyed demon, beats it up. Does she kill it?
No, they get in a fight. It runs away. She doesn't chase after it, obviously.
She's fighting this Sith Lord for like a good 30 seconds. And as it runs away, Kathy finally gets up and is like, whoa, what'd you push me for? Buffy's like, there was a mugger or something. He was trying to steal my backpack. And she's like, and you just fought him? What the fuck are you thinking? You could have gotten hurt.
Now my sweater's all messed up. Let's go get you cleaned up.
Yeah. So Buffy then goes, oh, I don't know. Then there's like a bunch of Siths that emerge from the bushes as well. Or it's like two of them.
Yeah.
And they're talking to each other, and they're like, hey, I think that might be the one. And they're like, is that the one? Are you sure? Well, follow her. Make sure that she is the one. And you're like, uh-oh, what the heck's going on here?
I was like, come on. Let's get going.
Yep. This episode gets going with the demon shit pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So then it's the next day, and Buffy is at Giles's house. Where is this?
His grotto.
Yeah, he has like an outdoor patio like situation.
All we've ever seen of his place is that it's like a front door. And they cut to the door, I think, right? Or at some point they're like, oh, I think later scene they have the front door when it's like, oh, you know who you have to talk to about this, and they have maybe it's
like his backyard, because he definitely does have an upstairs, because he walked upstairs when he found Jenny Callender's dead body.
And you don't move out of a place when you find a dead body like that. Just you
live with all those some sage.
You live with those memories. You can't move into a house in Sunnydale that hasn't had a murder in it.
But they're on like his patio situation.
Yeah.
And Buffy's like reading his mail. And I was like, well, this is a crime. This is a federal offense, Buffy.
Yeah.
But Giles comes running down the stairs and he's like been jogging. And Buffy's like, you fucking exercise? Thought you were a Poindexter.
He's like, I do a lot of people you don't. I mean, a lot of things you don't know about.
Well, I was like, okay, well, I ran into a demon last night, Giles, and, he's got some scarred faces. He had some glowy eyes and he had a black cloak. And Giles is like, well, that sounds pretty crazy. I'll research it. And she's like, yeah. And the worst part was that fucking my roommate, Kathy, was there. Mm-hmm. And Giles is like, you took her out on patrol with you? And Buffy's like, no, Giles. I lied to her and she decided to come with me. She thought I was getting coffee. And Giles is like, well, let's make sure not to do that again.
Yeah, she jokes before like she invited everyone, but only she decided to show up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is before or after they make a band Candy reference about him having a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
About hooking up with his
well, because she finds like a motorcycle magazine in his mail. Yeah. She's like, you having a midlife crisis. I don't want you to have another one of those things like you did with band Candy after, I'm still getting the memories of that out of my head.
He's like, whoa. And he's like, I've moved on from Joyce.
Giles is like, oh, you mean when I fucked your mom? Oh, he did that little snap thing with his hand. Yeah.
Then he took the towel that's around him and just like whipped it at her.
Well, then Giles is like, all right, I'll research this demon. I'm gonna get to it. And Buffy just kind of like stays there and she's like, so how's your date going? And Giles turns around and is like, all right, something's wrong. You've never once in your entire life asked me about how my day is going. What's up with this? What's going on here, Buffy?
Which says a lot about Buffy.
Absolutely. And it doesn't surprise me at all.
When his girlfriend died, she was never like, how you doing? How you holding up?
No. She's just like, hey, we got to fix Angel.
Yeah.
My boyfriend. I'm sorry about your girlfriend, but my boyfriend takes precedence here. Oh, man. And Giles is just like, what do you mean, how's my day going? You've never once asked what's going on. And Buffy's kind of like, all right, the jig is up. I don't really actually give a fuck about your day. I just want to stay here and chill out until Kathy goes to class because I don't want to be around her anymore. Yeah. And Giles is like, of course you don't care about.
He calls her out for being an only child.
Yeah.
And like that being part of the problem. Like, oh yeah, that could be something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna have to learn to live with some people, dear. Yeah. Like it's not easy, but you're gonna have to figure it out.
I gotta say that living situation for freshmen, like for a dorm, like just a square room, 2 beds next to each other, person you've never met before, like that's a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah, thinking back on it, like you're living with a complete stranger. That is wild.
In the jail, man. It's basically like a prison cell that you can leave. Like it's the size of like. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we need to reiterate, these dorms at Sunnydale are immaculate.
They have walk-in closets.
Yeah, dude. Like, this is craziness. Yeah. So, yeah, they're very lucky about that. So, while Buffy is not in her room, Kathy decides, she's cleaning her shirt. She's trying to clean the shirt that Buffy kind of ruined by pushing her into.
And she's using the laundry room that they have in the room.
Yeah. She's just got like she hired the maid to. No, she's got like a scrub brush and she's trying to scrub the dirt out and she can't do it. And she's like, well, this is some bullshit, Well, you know what? Buffy stole some of my milk. So I'm going to go through her personal belongings. That seems fair. I'm going to go into Buffy's little walk-in closet. I'm going to go through her shit. So she goes and she does that. And she's looking through Buffy's clothes. She sees a sweater that she likes, which is absolutely terrible.
It's very Willow-esque. Actually.
It's one of her Jackie O sweaters, I feel like.
No, it had like flowers on it. It's like very cute, like high school kid, but like high school freshman, like, I don't know. It's
like,
very kid. It's very
like
kid-like.
55-year-old lady sweater, dude.
Yeah, you might be right. It's not. Yeah.
But she looks at it and she's like, "Oh, this is a nice little sweater. I think I might."
It looks like something Kathy would wear, not something Buffy would wear.
I don't know. Because based off of what I saw from Kathy last episode, I thought that she was like a punk rocker, but then I guess she's just listening to Cher and stuff.
No, I didn't get that vibe from her. She was just like in a hoodie
she got
and
a
jeans.
little short, spiky haircut.
I don't know if that haircut is... Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that haircut.
Yeah. But she looks at it, she's like, all right, I think I'm going to borrow this sweater and let me look on the ground here. There's a duffel bag with a crossbow sticking out of it. Huh, that's curious. She opens up the duffel bag. She sees all the stakes and crossbows and giant crosses, and she looks at them. Her eyes get all wide. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to put this back.
Like, from what we know, she should know now, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, she should know something.
She should know everything from seeing this. Also, Buffy, what are you doing? It's not locked. It's just a bag in your... Like, what was her plan moving to college and then sneaking out at night to fight vampires?
I think we saw her plan. She was going to say that she was getting some late night coffee.
Yes, drinking coffee at 2 in. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kathy puts that bag back and she's like, okay, I'm not gonna ask about this. So then Buffy is in line at I think it's called Rocket Cafe. Is that what the thing was called?
There's the school cafeteria, like the dining hall.
Yeah, so she's like leaving that and she sees Kathy in line. She's like, oh, fuck, I'm trying to avoid this. I don't want to talk to Kathy. And she hides herself with a tray and she cuts in front of some cute guy named Parker Abrams. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, who you hiding from, an ex or the feds or whatever? And Buffy's like, both. And then they have their cute little banter. And he's like, let me teach you how to screw over the school with your diner card. I got some tips and tricks for you.
I will say, I haven't thought about that in a long time, about the dining card and how many meals and you have on it, and then like having to go to like this like buffet and like stock up on stuff. And
yep. Yeah. And then at the end of the semester, just like you have all of your meals left, you're just like taking cakes and shit.
Or you just run out too early and you're just like, okay, I ran out of my like, we had like Kelly Deli at Drexel. It was like, you had the dining hall card, but you also had like a certain amount of money on this other thing that you could buy from the shop. And the dining halls closed so early.
Yeah.
Like dining hall would be closed at like 7. And you go out to the party at like 11 and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's a wild time. And this is just bringing me back to it a little bit.
But Parker Abrams and Buffy are kind of hitting it off. They got some cute little flirtations going. I gotta say, Buffy is like super into this guy. She's like, oh man, this guy is pretty cute. And like, he looks like a shorter Xander to me.
Dude, I was going to say this. Every guy in this show just has the same personality. They all have it. Like the TA, they all have that, like, they're kind of quippy. It's like every rom-com Hallmark movie. Like if you just roll every Buffy guy that could be a love interest, it's like, oh, well, you got to do this thing.
Speaking of that, dude, in that first scene when Buffy's like talking to Kathy about like going out to get a coffee while Kathy's ironing her jeans, she has such an annoying staccato speech pattern, and it was bugging me so fucking much.
What, Kathy or Buffy?
Buffy's like, yeah, I am going to get some coffee. I guess.
Buffy's working on her lies again. Like, she's so bad at it. She's like, oh, what if I just like take weird Christopher Walken pauses?
Yeah, man. It was like bugging me so much.
The scene that bugged me is the scene coming up where they're talking at the lunch table. And it had like this weird zero energy. It was like, you say a line, cut, you say a line, cut, you say a line, cut. I was like, are they friends? Have they met each other before? Like,
yeah. So after Buffy and Parker, like, go their separate ways, Buffy walks over to the gang is sitting at a table. It's Oz, Willow, and Xander. And Buffy walks over and she's like, Xander, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to not be on campus? And he's like, oh, I was just kind of hanging out. And then Willow's like, who the hell was that cute guy? Who are you talking to? And Buffy's like, it's nothing. And she's like, I think it might be something. And Oz is like, I think it might be something too. I'll definitely go back. And Xander's like, yeah, I think you laid that Buffy charm on him. He's definitely interested. Buffy's like, you guys really think so? Then Kathy shows up.
I wish it was like that. It's like it's so like staggered with like Oz's like no emotion, and then Willow, and everyone is almost in like these single shots. It's I don't know. It's just so weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of cut,
and it doesn't. And there's not a lot of cafeteria chatter in the background. I think it's something like missing from this scene.
Yeah. But yeah, then Xander's like, so what's going on? Any find anything while you're on patrol last night? And Buffy's like, well, I did get attacked by this demon with glowy eyes. And Xander's like, oh, fuck, are we going to get to hunt him? Should we go hunting? And Buffy's like, calm down,
Should we get the Scooby Gang together?
Yeah. I don't know why she's like, calm down. And Xander's like, am I too excited? It's like, yeah, this is what you fucking do.
Yeah, like Buffy, the earlier scene, you're like, beating up some demons would be really helpful tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, then Kathy shows up in the middle of all this chatter about demon hunting, and she's wearing Buffy's sweater, and she sits down. She's like, mind if I join you? And she just plops down, and Buffy's like, I mean, I guess so. I guess you're invited. Buffy notices that she's wearing her sweater. She's like, is that my sweater? And Kathy's like, I figured you wouldn't mind. And Buffy's like, I guess not. And I thought that Kathy was going to be like, well, you took some of my milk. But Kathy doesn't bring up the milk at all.
I thought Kathy would be like, you ruined my sweater last night.
Yeah. Kathy doesn't throw anything in Buffy's face.
No.
She's just like, I thought that you wouldn't mind. You know, we're the same size.
She says, and we're like almost sisters now.
Yeah. And Buffy's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, dude, don't fucking steal my sweater without asking, you stupid asshole. And Kathy takes a gigantic bite of her hamburger, and a little splurt of ketchup falls, and it's in slow motion, and you're going back and forth between this ketchup falling and Buffy's eyes just getting more pissed off. And then it eventually falls right on Buffy's sweater, and Buffy's like, she's got the smoke coming out of her ears.
She should have used her Slayer speed to put a napkin underneath it.
Right? Why couldn't she do that? I don't understand.
And it's ketchup. It's fine.
I mean, last episode of Angel episode 1,
he showed his speed.
He showed his speed. He caught a coffee that was falling, and you can hear more about that on our Patreon page.
Yeah, he pulled a Spider-Man.
He did.
Yeah.
Dude, anytime something like that happens with me, I literally say under my breath, Spider-Man. Like, I could be alone. Like, I could almost drop a cup and grab it before it hits the ground, and I'll go, Spider-Man.
It's an iconic scene in that first movie.
Yeah, man. But no, like, ketchup gets on the sweater, and Buffy in the next scene is on the phone with Willow, and she's like, you don't understand, Willow. This Kathy girl. I mean, can you believe she stole my fucking sweater and she got ketchup on it, and she's constantly playing Cher? I mean, this chick is the fucking worst. And you cut to Willow on the phone, and she's in her dorm room, and there's just a rager going on behind her. And Willow's like, yeah, it sounds pretty bad. I mean, my roommate's pretty bad. And Buffy's like, she can't be as bad as Kathy.
And there's like, she's getting hit with like beach balls and stuff. Like, it's a crazy party happening in that room.
Yeah. It's hilarious though. Like, Willow's like, I gotta study and stuff, and she's trying to be on the phone. And
this is where I started to be like, oh man, Joe's gonna be right. Because it's like, it's no way they're gonna keep Willow with this roommate.
Yeah. I don't know how Buffy couldn't have heard like the rager going on behind Willow.
Buffy's
or she just
selfish.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, she's selfish.
So after they hang up, Buffy's like, I'm gonna go to the fridge and see what's in there. She opens the fridge up, and Kathy has labeled everything that is hers. And it looks like literally everything in the fridge is Kathy.
Yeah.
She even like wrote her name on every egg.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. And Buffy's looking like wide-eyed. Kathy kind of looks over her shoulder like, yeah, this is what I have to do now. Isn't that kind of fucked up because you stole my milk?
Which is insane because a little bit of milk. Like, it's not like she had like one of those short ones. She's got the tall quart.
Yeah. And if it's just like a little bit for coffee, that's not a lot.
No. Like, you have to be measuring. Yeah, she's that type of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that Buffy likes doing, she likes to leave her window open. So while Buffy is at
Can we talk about that? And why someone that's a slayer that's been hunted and knows demons can just walk into a place would ever sleep with a window open?
Yeah.
I think they're on the ground floor too.
That'd be so bad if they were on the ground floor. They're not on the ground floor because don't they fall out the window? And they're like, or later on in this episode, and they're dangling.
I guess they do. What? Demons can jump up. I don't know. Window closed. I mean, sure, they could break in. I don't know. It just seems weird that Buffy's a window open person.
It is weird that she's a window open person. Yeah. But
it works for the plot, though.
Yeah. Kathy goes and she closes the window, and while Buffy's at the refrigerator, and Buffy is like annoyed about that. Goes back to her bed, reopens the window. Kathy has a book on her desk, and Buffy has put gum on the nightstand, and Kathy takes her book up off of the nightstand. There's gum on it. She's like, who the fuck puts gum on the nightstand? And Buffy's like, I didn't do it. But Buffy's chewing gum at this exact same time. And Kathy's like, well, somebody had to do it, and it's not me. And Buffy's like, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
She swallowed her gum.
But honestly, like, that's an animal behavior.
And it seems like they have two different nightstands.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was like on her nightstand. Like, that seems like an aggressive move.
Well, it's like, it's not even gum under the desk. It's on top of the desk. Like, who the fuck does that?
No, like, Kathy's got a gripe here. Like,
she absolutely does.
Yeah. Like, Buffy's not fully innocent until she is proven innocent.
But even still, like, this is egregious.
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
So Kathy's yelling at her about that, and they're like, you know what? Let's just go to fucking sleep. And so Buffy goes to sleep, and she has this dream about the demons that she was fighting with the glowy eyes, the little Sith Lord people. And there's a scorpion on her. There's blood being poured into her mouth. There's a demon that's standing above her, sucking the soul out of her. And Buffy wakes up like in a huff, and Kathy is awake, and she's like next to Buffy, and she's like, you always make that noise when you sleep? Which is funny because last episode, Kathy was the one that was like snoring and making weird noises.
Yeah. I will say this dream sequence, better done. Looks nice. Looks really cool.
It looks great. They're in like a black void, and there's just like scorpions crawling all over Buffy. The cuts are pretty decent.
Yeah, the breath coming out is really nice looking.
Yeah, it looks good.
I don't normally care for these dream sequence weird flash stuff, but like they got some good visuals in here. So,
yeah, I agree with you. So it's the next day, and Buffy is in the library quad. So they're in some kind of like hangout spot with couches and shit. And Giles is
it's the new area that was in a high school where they all used to sit.
Those like cross couch situation. But Giles is there, and Buffy's telling Giles about the demon. She's like, yeah, I had this demon dream last night, and they were sucking the soul out of me. But this fucking Kathy bitch, I gotta tell you. Demon. This fucking Kathy chick, she's the real fucking demon. And Giles is like, Buffy, this is really minuscule compared to like your crazy demon vision that you had. And Buffy's like, nah, I don't really think so. You don't really know this Kathy chick, Giles. And then so lo and behold, Kathy shows up, and she's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? And Giles stands up, and Willow's like, this is Giles. He's our older friend, but not in a creepy way.
Like our adult friend or something. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's just sitting there.
Yeah. And Kathy's like, oh, nice to meet you. She overhears Giles talking about like trying to understand Buffy's dream. And Kathy is like, whoa, you're like a dream reader. That's awesome. Maybe you can help decipher my dream. I had this dream where there was these demons and there were scorpions and they're pouring blood into my mouth and sucking the soul out of me. But Giles is like, oh shit, this Kathy chick's having the same dream as you, Buffy.
Yeah, well, Oz is the one that like finishes her thought, and she's like, yeah. He's like, you're good at guessing. He's like, I'm a good guesser or something.
Yeah,
like, something Oz like.
Yeah, and so they're like, wow, this is interesting. You had the same dream as Buffy, and Buffy is just like, yeah, who gives a fuck? Fuck you, Kathy. Buffy is such a bitch in this.
Oh
scene.
yeah, she's really a biatch in this one. Like here, like. To the point where you're like, whoa, chill, Buffy, chill.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like passive aggressive. It's aggressive aggressive. She's like, don't you have to leave, Kathy? Bye-bye now. See ya.
I do have to bring up this thing. Knowing what we know at the end of this episode, why would Kathy say she had the same dream?
Yeah, wouldn't that be breadcrumbs leading you toward Kathy, or like have you investigate Kathy?
Why, why even bring that up? I don't know what that does. Like, I don't know why she would do that.
Because
that's weirder than like.
What's the opposite of throwing off the scent? Like, it definitely attracts people to be like, let's research more about Kathy.
Yeah, she could have been like, I just dreamed I was floating on a cloud with a Nebraskan, something from Nebraska, like
a
husky.
Yeah, this definitely raises some eyebrows about Kathy, but Buffy's more annoyed about like, can you believe that she just came over and like introduced herself?
At this point, I thought she might have to team up with Kathy to stop whatever's happening, and that would bond them. Like happens with everyone. They fight some demon together, and they're like, we're best friends now. Have an egg.
Yeah. Like she sees that Buffy saves her life. She's like, you can have as much milk as you want or something. But yeah, Buffy is just like so rude to Kathy, and Buffy gets up and she's like, you know what? Kathy leaves. Buffy's like, well, I have to go and actually go to class now. So you guys do your research. You guys do the brain stuff. I'm going to go to class. And I was just like, a lot of people would consider going to class doing the brain stuff. And Buffy's like, not me. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So Buffy leaves, and then Giles, Willow, and Oz have a little side conversation like, hey, man, is Buffy being a fucking bitch right now? They're all like, yeah, she's being kind of an asshole. I don't really get why she's... Like, I get this Kathy girl is, like, kind of annoying, but, like, she's being an asshole, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they're like, all right, let's keep an eye on Buffy, though, too, because maybe this demon's affecting her and making her this way. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll do that. So then the next scene is all of these like Sith Lord demons meeting around a campfire. And they're like, we think we found the one. We need to summon Taparich,
yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. So then Buffy's back at her dorm room, and Cher is playing once again. She's outside of the dorm room. She's like, I can't believe this chick is listening to fucking Cher. Do you believe once again?
Yeah.
So she opens the door, and who is there but Parker Abrams? And Parker and Kathy are really like hitting it off. They're having a good old time. And Buffy's like, what the hell? What is Parker doing here? And Parker's like, oh, hey, what's up, Buffy? I just came to drop off some Ziploc bags for you to help you take advantage of the school cafeteria bullshit's even better. So here's a box of Ziploc bags. Yeah. And Kathy is like, isn't Parker just the greatest? We're big hockey fans together. And like, they're having a good old time. They're hitting it off. And Buffy's getting jealous because she's like, I had my eyes on this Parker guy. Kathy, you stole my sweater. Now you're stealing my man. How dare you?
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write 1 million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
So
yeah,
Parker,
this is something you can't do with Buffy. You can do anything else, but if you touch anybody that she kind of likes, you're done for.
Yeah.
She just talked to this guy once in line, and that's it. That's mine.
Yeah. She's got dibs.
Yeah, she's got angry, possessive dude qualities when it comes to that.
So Parker's like, all right, well, I'm going to head out. And Buffy's like, hey, we should hang out sometime. Next time, hopefully I'm not in my dorm when you're here. He's like, yeah, sure. Next time, maybe we'll get to hang out sometime. So Parker leaves. Buffy closes the door. And she just turns around. And she gives Kathy the biggest stink eye. Mm-hmm. And she's like, interesting that you and Parker were kind of hitting it off. You two were getting along swell, weren't you? Kathy was like, I mean, yeah, you weren't here. Like, you don't have any claim to him. I don't know that you even knew this guy.
Yeah. You're like, did you fuck him?
Yeah.
Like, geez, Buffy. Like, at that point, you're like, Buffy, I don't know about this roommate situation.
She's like, oh, you're going to steal my man like you stole my fucking sweater? And Kathy's like, what is your deal, dude? Like, yeah, like you stole some of my milk. And Buffy's like, oh, your milk, huh? You're going to do that? Well, guess what? Buffy walks over to their mini fridge, opens up brand new milk, and just chugs the entire thing, just spilling out the side of her mouth, spilling onto the floor. I thought the Buffy was going to like get sick, because if you drink that much milk that quickly, you're going to fucking puke, dude.
And the scene just ends there.
Yeah. And it's like she's chugging that milk for a while.
I mean, none of it's going down her throat, just all going down the side of her mouth.
Yeah. It's like she's Stone Cold Steve Austin in it.
There's
there's
like a Instagram memes page. I think that's the profile picture. And it's just like Buffy chugging milk. And I never knew what it was from, and now it's like this. Like, I thought she was gonna like, I don't know what, when she went to the fridge, I thought she was gonna start labeling. I don't know. I did not expect her to start chugging that milk like that.
And Kathy's kind of looking at her like, what is your fucking problem, dude?
That carpet is fucked.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's going to stink.
Yeah.
So then we go to Willow and Oz is like walking Willow back to her dorm room. And they're both a little worried about Buffy. They're like, man, I don't know what's going on with Buffy, but she's not acting like herself. Like, I think that this demon may have possessed her or something, or like this demon's gotten into her head and is causing her to act like this. So we should really keep an eye on her. But, you know, I'm Willow and I really need to study. I got this test tomorrow. And Oz was like, don't worry, babe. I'll take care of it. I'll go hang out with Buffy. And I was like, will you really? And I was like, yeah, I don't really hang out with her that much. I'll go check on her. And I was like, thanks so much. I'm going to just go into my room here and study. She opens her door. It's a rager. She closes the door. She's like, I'm actually going to go to the library.
Yeah. So the library is open late.
Yeah.
And I think this was the writers being like, hey, you know who hasn't been in the scene by themselves yet?
Yeah.
Oz and Buffy.
So they remedy that problem immediately. And Oz is walking alone at night. And I gotta say, Oz looks like a fucking G in this like jacket.
You like that giant? You like that giant jacket? It reminds me of
Bane from Batman.
Yeah, it's Bane.
It's the same kind of Bane jacket, but it's not long. It's just like a.
It's almost Fargo-esque, and I think a little bit of Fight Club.
Yeah.
Tyler Durden.
Like, I mean, it's like a leather motorcycle jacket, but it's got the like sheepskin underneath.
Is it leather or like, I don't know. Yeah, it's something. It's definitely fur coat. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks pretty cool on him. I feel like
he looks good in this episode. He looks like he's like come into form, aged up. Yeah.
So Oz is walking the campus at night to go meet up with Buffy.
Walking campus at night. They know demons are out. They know there was a gang of vampires. They just casually stroll outside.
Yeah, especially like he walks by this group of people and he gets like a spider sense tingling. And he does like, uh-oh, something's going on. He turns back around and it's 3 people. It's 2 guys and 1 blonde girl. And the blonde girl also turns around. She looks at Oz and they look at each other and they're kind of like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
And then they just keep going their merry way. And Oz is like, that was a little weird. I'm going to keep walking and go meet up with Buffy. And then behind him, in the background, those fucking military dudes with the sniper rifles and tasers are like closing in on that group of whoever they were.
I didn't know if they were closing in or with.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
And it was just like, and it seemed like there was other people still walking outside too.
Yeah,
it was a lot going on.
Yeah, and especially because like that's the only scene we see of that girl and those,
I think she's
like,
gonna,
military guys.
I think she's gonna play a role
later on.
I think she has to be later on. She might be a werewolf. Maybe it's werewolf sense.
He can sense his own.
You would hope.
Well, he does have his sniffing powers.
Yeah. And then maybe if she does end up dead, he can be like, oh yeah, I remember seeing her. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot going on in this campus.
Yeah, it was a weird scene though, especially because they don't do anything else with it in this episode. You're just kind of like, wait, hold on a second. What was that?
I'm sure it'll pay off because the show doesn't really do.
Yeah, they have long-term storytelling going on.
Yeah, they're good. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Except when they don't.
We like the show.
We like the show, guys. Stop asking us. So Oz finally catches up with Buffy and they're on patrol at night. And Buffy is just bitching about Kathy. Like, can you believe this girl? She listens to Cher on repeat. It's the same song over and over. She labeled all the food. She fucking clips her. No, I don't know if that. No, that's not yet. Yeah. But she's just like, this girl is just the worst. You know, this is the worst thing that's going on right now. And Oz is like, I don't know. I think that, you know, the demons that are sucking the soul out of you guys is a little bit worse. And Buffy's like, nah, dude. No, you don't get it. You just don't understand how fucking annoying this girl is. And then Buffy just kicks a bench and it explodes. And Oz is like, well, you definitely destroyed that bench. I'm glad that you did that because that bench was looking really shifty. We should be really on patrol for demons and vampires, though.
He's like, yeah, maybe all you're arguing or talking about is scaring all the demons away. And she's like, oh, look, now she's ruining my work now, too. And it's like, geez, yeah. Buffy. Yeah,
she's being, as Willow states, I think earlier or later, but she's definitely being Cordelia-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Where all of her problems, she's like leading back to this fucking Kathy girl.
I think like Cordelia's more funny when she does it.
Yeah. Buffy is absolutely not.
And Cordelia also doesn't have super strength where you're afraid of what she might do.
Fair. Very fair. So then Buffy goes back to her dorm room and Kathy's there. And this is where Kathy is clipping her toenails on the bed. And it's like this slow-mo and you can hear it like
and the sound effect, yeah.
The sound effects of like every clip is like echoing in Buffy's head. And it's like close up of Buffy's eyes, just like, how could you fucking do this? I can't believe this annoying asshole. So Buffy starts tapping her pencil on a book. And then it goes to Kathy's point of view. And Kathy's hearing every slam of that pencil. And she's like, can't believe this fucking Buffy chick.
It's like, boom, boom, boom. It's like, these girls hate each other, man.
Dude, they're driving each other crazy. And the Cher song finally ends that's playing. And then Kathy gets up and puts it back on. And Buffy snaps her pencil in half.
Is that
I can't fucking take this anymore.
Is that before or after she gets a boiled egg and starts like cracking it?
Now she walks over to the fridge and she gets an egg and she starts cracking and rolling the hard boiled egg. And Buffy's just like, I can't take it anymore. This egg cracking is so fucking loud. Buffy's like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. She goes and she lays in bed and she has another demon dream.
I can't believe she fell right to sleep. I can't believe she fell right to sleep.
Me neither, dude.
Dude, I wish I had that power. That's the only power I want is instant sleep.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible how quickly she falls asleep, especially when she's like enraged.
Yeah.
But she goes right to sleep. It looks like the exact same demon dream.
Yeah, more or less.
Maybe a little bit different. then she wakes up and she's like, oh, whoa, that was crazy. And then she looks over and Kathy is also going like, and then Kathy finally wakes up as well. And she's like, whoa.
And that doesn't track at all.
Yeah,
I don't get what's happening there.
Yeah. What?
Buffy, we're like, like she should just be extra nice to Buffy.
Yeah,
like that
she
should be
trying to be incognito.
Yes,
but she's like raising alarms and trying to provoke people. It seems
like don't play the song. It's like, Buffy, what do you want to listen to? Be the nicest person in the world.
Well, dude, it's like she's trying to provoke Buffy after she sees Buffy's bag of weapons, crossbow and stakes and shit. Like, what are you thinking? Obviously, Buffy's got some problems going on in her head, even if you don't know that she's a slayer. Like, you look at that and you're like, oh shit, this girl's crazy.
We might dive into this at another point. I don't want to like derail us too much with this, but it just hit me like when I saw that like crucifix, that like Christianity is like completely real in this world. Like Jesus exists. Like that's like
there's a heaven and a hell. Yeah,
like
there's definitely a hell because Angel went there.
Yeah,
which we talk about a little bit more in the Patreon. But no, like this. Yeah, there has to be a heaven.
Yeah, the holy water. They never look to the Bible for answers. Always Giles' books.
But it's also like if you're Jewish, if you're Willow in this world and you see all these crucifixes and holy water working and like none of her Jewish stuff works, like you should probably convert, you know?
That's
you might be one of the chosen people, but not in the Buffy verse.
This might have to be a special episode that we deal to really dive into how the meaning of that.
Maybe in later seasons we get like Jewish demons or something, or like we see like the Star of David help or something.
Yeah, like a rabbi shows up and saves Buffy, and it becomes a very special episode.
Yeah. Like a yarmulke special.
Yeah.
But no, I never thought about that.
Yeah, it just hit me when I saw that. I was like, oh, so like Jesus exists in this world.
But so Buffy and Kathy wake up. It seems like they're having the same dream again. So then it's the next day, and Kathy's talking to Willow right outside Buffy's dorm, it seems like. And Kathy's like, yo, dude, I don't know what's up with your friend Buffy, but she is acting kind of crazy. I mean, she broke her pencil. She won't let me listen to Cher.
Yeah.
She drank some of my milk, bro.
Like all of my milk.
And Buffy sees this and she's like, what the fuck are you doing talking to my friend? That's my friend.
Oh my God. The stare that she gives, like, it scared me. Like, I'm like, oh man.
So Kathy like turns around and she sees Buffy and she's like, oh, time for me to go. I gotta go to class. Bye. So Kathy leaves. Buffy walks up to Willow and she's like, what are you doing talking to fucking Kathy? And Willow's like, don't worry about it. I mean, I was just trying to get both sides of the story, basically. Like, I think that you're acting a little strange, Buffy. I mean, you have to admit that. You're being this is kind of overkill. And Buffy's like, I don't think it is overkill. And you know what I've come to realize?
Well, she found the toenails clippings.
Buffy pulls out a bag of toenail clippings. She's like, she was clipping her toenails last night and it was so loud. But I grabbed these toenails, and these toenails, they're huge. She
said she measured them.
Yeah.
And I measured them last night and I measured them this morning. Crazy.
Yeah.
Insane. And they grew.
And they grew. She's like, that's a sign of demonic activity. And Willow's like, yeah, okay, Buffy. You're definitely acting sane. And Buffy's like, no, I'm the vampire slayer. I fight evil. I've deduced Kathy is evil and I need to kill her.
Great. Like, for me, this is up there with the Ted moment.
Yeah.
Of like we think she accidentally killed her mom's boyfriend. Like, when she says, I need to kill her, it's so terrifying because she could and would absolutely get away with it.
It's terrifying, but also hilarious because at this time you just think that Buffy's being an asshole.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Buffy's not handling this well at all.
Like, that's Buffy's problem for things. Oh, I really don't like this person. Kill him?
I don't like them. They must be evil. I'll kill them.
She like killed Faith. She doesn't care about the rules anymore.
Yeah.
She's not even saying that necessarily that she's a demon yet. She's just like, something's wrong with her. She's evil. I'm going to kill her.
Well, she kind of is like, she must be a demon because her toenails are growing after they got cut.
That's her excuse for everything.
Yeah.
Failed the test? Oh, principal must be a demon? Kill it. Teacher's a demon? Kill it.
So Willow sees all this craziness and she's like, okay, why don't you go and go over to Giles's and you tell him about these toenails, Buffy. We got to really do some research on this crazy Kathy situation. You're right. She might be evil. And Buffy's like, I'm glad that we're on the same page. I'm going to go to Giles. Great idea. So Buffy leaves. Willow immediately turns to a phone and she calls Giles and she's like, Giles, I think Buffy's going on a homicidal rampage. And so I sent her over to you. Have fun with that. Bye.
Yeah, I love that. Like, this killer's coming to your place.
Yeah. So Buffy goes to Giles's and she busts in. She's like, Giles, I got some evidence for you. I got some evidence of Kathy being evil. Kathy's definitely a demon. And nobody's answering. She's like, Giles? You home, Giles? And I thought that another hot chick was going to like bust out of here or something. But she's just like, Giles, are you home? And then you're like, now get her. And then a net falls on top of Buffy.
Where was the net? Where did it come from? They just had it on the ceiling?
Yeah, I guess so, man. Buffy walked right into that trap.
Yeah.
So a net falls and Buffy's like, what the hell? What's going on? Xander and Oz come out and they're like, this is for your own good. We got to do this to you, Buffy. And so they tie her up and Buffy's like, no, let me go. And Giles comes out and he's like, look, Buffy, you're acting like an asshole. And we think that this demon that's in your dreams is possessing you. So I'm going to do some more research. Sounds like you're trying to kill this girl, Kathy, which we don't have any evidence that she's a demon. And Buffy's like, look at my purse. I've got toenail clippings. They grew. That's demonic activity, Giles. I swear, you know it's true. I know it's true. We all know that she's a demon. And Giles is like, okay, I'm going to take these clippings, okay? Mm-hmm. I'll do some research, but until then, you need to stay here and you can't leave, okay? And so Oz and Xander have her tied up and she's like, you're going to fucking regret this. This is not what you want to be doing. And Giles is like, okay, well, I'm out. Have fun.
Yeah, I have to go. He has to go to the witch shop to buy some witch stuff, I think.
Yeah, he needs to go to the magic stop.
Because he thinks she's possessed.
Yeah.
Which I never thought she was, because we've seen her get possessed in the earshot one, and it has to be like something more than just being punched.
Yeah. So Willow goes to Buffy's dorm to go kind of like warn Kathy about like, hey, you might be in some danger here. Mm-hmm. So Willow goes over and she's like, hey, Kathy, I think it might be a good idea for you to like be apart from Buffy. And by apart, I mean, you should move out of this room. And Kathy's like, why the fuck should I leave? Why do I gotta leave, huh? Buffy, last episode, she was about to leave. I saw all of her possessions be gone, and she took off all the sheets. She left a note that she was...
Yeah, nothing normal has been happening with her since she's been here.
Yeah.
She drank coffee at midnight.
Yeah. And Kathy's like, you know what? I'm not leaving. This is bullshit. Buffy, why am I the one that needs to leave? And you know what? Something's up with that Buffy chick. You know, I've looked through her shit. She has a bunch of weapons over there. And, you know, just look at her shifty eyes. You could tell she's up to some bad stuff. You could tell she might fly off the handle and go postal on somebody one of these days. And Willow, then a phone call comes in and it's Oz. And Oz tells Willow, like, hey, we got Buffy. We got her tied up here. So there's no danger for Kathy. So Willow hangs up the phone. She's like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe you don't need to leave. Just stay here, actually. Do the opposite of leave. Stay in your room. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah. I thought here was going to be more threatening towards Willow. Because at one point, like, Kathy's like, I don't know. This Buffy, she could push someone too far. Like, and Kathy's like, I'm ready to murder too.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of awesome.
Yeah. No, dude, this episode is good fun.
It's really silly. It's really silly, but it's fun and it works.
Yeah. So Buffy is all tied up at Giles's, and
they don't know how to tie anybody up.
Yeah, I mean, Buffy's like trying to struggle. She's struggling to get out. She's like, I gotta get out of here. You guys don't know what you're doing. She's evil. And Xander and Oz are looking at her like, I don't think that we tied those ropes tight enough. And they're like, oh, fuck.
He didn't learn that at the gentleman's club that he was stripping at? They weren't
didn't learn that
in that play?
He didn't learn that from being a military guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they didn't do a lot of knots in Army.
Yeah. But they're like, all right, well, we need to go over there and we need to make sure that she's secure and tied up. And Buffy is looking at him like, I'm going to fuck you up if you come near me. I swear to God. Sarah
Michelle Gellar is like, I haven't seen her do this in the series. Yeah. Like, this look that she has, like her playing the bad guy she looks really scary, fun. Dude. Yeah. Like, she's doing her like Angelus version,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, we saw it in the Wish universe.
In the Wish universe, she was like a grizzled.
She wasn't evil, yeah. She was more like jaded.
Yeah, it was like, it didn't do it for me.
But here, she's just like looking like she's staring at them through her eyebrows. Like, you got to come over here, huh? And tie me up tighter. Yeah. I fucking dare you.
Yeah.
And so they start walking over, and Xander's like, oh, look out for the legs.
That's so funny. I love the reference because they're all cakes.
Yeah. Do not go by our legs.
Slayers are all leg kicks.
So they get closer to Buffy, and they get close enough for Buffy to stand up, and she is completely untied. Like, it's not that, like, they aren't tight enough. Like, she is busted out of these ropes. Yeah. And she's like, you're right. You didn't tie him tight enough. She bonks them into each other off the heads and knocks them out.
Like some Three Stooges stuff.
It absolutely was. That's exactly what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
So she bonks their heads together and they get knocked out. And Buffy is like, all right, I'm going to go now. And so she leaves and goes back to her dorm room.
If you're going to tie up a Slayer, you might as well just leave her in the net.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen her break out of all kinds of shackles and everything. Like, library jail could probably barely hold her.
Yeah, we saw her break out of the shackles when she was with tied up
in the frat.
Faith. And Faith was
well, I don't think she was actually locked up there. But I think when she was in the frat house in Reptile Boy, she just like rips through the wall, and they can break out of handcuffs really easily. You know, so like you need something more than a college freshman tying ropes. Yeah.
So Buffy goes back to their dorm room. She opens the door, closes it, and just does a little spin. And she is staring a hole into Kathy. And she's like, Kathy, it's time to settle this, don't you think? Kathy's like, oh, I think you're right. Kathy gets up in Buffy's face. And I was like, oh, no, Kathy. And Buffy, they're standing like nose to nose. And Buffy's like, she like kicks Kathy's rug and it like flips up. And I was like, that's...
Oh, well, there's a callback. I guess I might have missed that. But when she's cleaning her sweater, the rug is like flipped over and she makes sure to flip it right. Like she's OCD. So flipping the rug up is probably like a trigger for her.
Yeah. So Buffy's like, kicks the rug up. She looks at Kathy like, what are you going to fucking do about it? And Kathy's like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do about it. She hauls off and punches Buffy in the face with like a humongous right hook.
Buffy is getting hit in the face hard this season.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kathy did not hold back on that punch. And Buffy comes back and she's like, that's all I fucking needed.
She's like, justification.
So Buffy and Kathy start fighting. And shortly into the fight, Buffy rips Kathy's face off. And Buffy's like, oh, I was fucking right. You are a demon.
Yo, when that face rip off happened, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, the effects are really cool. Like, it's gory. It feels like the sound effects feel meaty. Like,
yeah.
It peels off her face. I was like, oh my God, Buffy, did you just rip the lady's face off?
Yeah. Well, she did, but luckily it was a demon.
Yeah, that was not. She's like, my mistake.
Yeah, it's just like see some skeleton underneath of it. Just like, ooh.
Shouldn't have been playing Cher so much.
But I love Buffy. Like, I fucking knew it. So now we go over to the demons who are summoning Tapa Rich. And they're like, oh, we finally summoned this guy. We finally got him up. And we're like, we think we found the one. And it's like, oh, shit. They're coming after Buffy.
And we should say that the demon face that the girl has is same eyes.
Yeah, she's got the glowy face and everything.
Yeah.
So Giles is also now reading about these demons. And he's like, oh, okay, it's this type. I didn't bother to write down what kind of demon it was.
No.
But it's some kind of demon that steals souls or something and whatever. And Kathy is on top of Buffy and she's explaining like, I escaped my dimension and I don't ever want to go back. My dimension sucks and I have to steal somebody's soul. So I'm going to steal your soul and I'm going to be able to stay here. And you're ruining my good time here in this dimension.
Yeah,
and,
so this is where it's like, why was she doing what she was doing the whole episode if that was her plan?
Yeah, throw her off the scent, dude.
Throw off the scent.
Do it more secretly.
Be nice to Buffy. Maybe she was trying to do that with the coffee, but then her sweater got messed up and she was like, fuck this bitch. You know, like, maybe I'll go be nice, have a coffee with her, bond with her. You know?
It seemed like she was trying to be nice to her last episode and like the start of this episode.
Well, she did have that weird line that I said, oh, you went at the right side? Okay. Like, that seemed a little weirdly passive, but yeah, I just don't know why she lied about the dream and then faked that she was having the same dream in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, was she having? I
don't know.
Yeah.
But, and Giles actually figured out from the toenails that actually what was happening. So Buffy was right with that too. So
yeah. So the demon Kathy is like, I gotta steal a soul, and I'm gonna fucking take your soul in order to stay in this dimension. And you know they fight some more. They're having a good old Donnybrook. Mm-hmm. So Xander and Oz finally wake up and they're like, Jesus, why doesn't Giles have actual shackles like a real bachelor?
Yeah, I guess that's the thing.
Willow shows up and she's like, okay, we got Buffy, right? Wait, hold on, where's Buffy? And they're like, she escaped. Giles shows up and he's like, Buffy was right. The toenails grew. Kathy is a demon. And they're like, wait, that's an actual demon thing? And Giles is like, actually, yeah, Buffy was right. We need to figure out, I figured out what kind of demons they are. We need to start this spell. They're trying to steal Buffy's soul. Willow, you and I are going to do this spell. Xander and Oz, you guys are going to go help Buffy in the flesh.
I think this is where I was like, always believe Buffy. I've said it before.
Yeah.
It seems weird to believe her when she wants to kill a roommate. But
here I was like, it's tough. It's tough
but you always got to believe her. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes they just start doubting her for no reason. But this one, I understand. This one, I'm on their side of like a little bit of doubt. I was thinking
as like she ripped the face off, I was like, wow, you really do need to believe Buffy all the time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have believed her here.
No, it's just that one time that you do believe her and you shouldn't. If something bad happens.
But end up killing Ted.
Yeah, but 99% of the time, believe Buffy.
Yeah.
And is this the part where did we pass the part where the demon is beating her with the phone?
No, I think that happens next. Yeah.
She's like hitting her with the phone receiver and saying, log your call.
Yeah. No, I mean, this fight is pretty long and it's pretty funny too. Because
it's all like, callbacks, yeah.
They're making their callbacks. Like she throws Buffy out the window and she's like, hey, your fucking window's open now, huh? You happy about that? And also they're just making a bunch of racket and like one of their
how do they go out of the window and then get back into the room?
I don't quite.
I think they're on the first floor. Wait, don't they?
No, they're just hanging out.
They just
don't
hang
fall
out
out
the
the window.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're just hanging out. They don't fall out of it. But like the person that's living next door to them comes out and he's like, Jesus, will you guys keep it down? Some of us are trying to fucking study.
It was one of those things I was thinking because they kept getting slammed against the wall. Like, they are wrecking this room. Like,
yeah, man, they're throwing each other like across the room into walls and shit.
And I'm like, somebody has to be hearing this, right?
Yeah, like nobody comes to check on them.
Yeah. And then the guy comes out and says that joke. And I'm like, do I like that joke or do I not like it? You kind of have to do it, but it's, I don't know.
I like the joke.
It's fine. You know, it's harmless. It's harmless.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe a different delivery. Like an old, like, you know, that old guy banging, like, oh, keep it down up there.
Yeah.
He comes out and he's like, some of us are trying to study. Like, and he doesn't look nerdy enough to do it. Like, I don't know. It's something well, it's also missing. Like the
first week of school. Like, how much studying are you doing, you know?
Some of us care about school, Joe.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Just a regular Willow over here.
I had movies to watch, okay?
But they're fighting and they're going at it. They're doing hard. Giles and Willow are doing the spell. And then inside of Buffy's room, as they're fighting, Tapa Rich shows up. Mm-hmm. And he starts scolding Kathy because it's like, this is Kathy's father.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing here? I told you not to go to this dimension. And Kathy's like, why are you treating me like I'm 900 years old? I'm 3,000 years old. I can go where I freaking want, Dad. And he's like, no, you can't. You're coming back home right now. And Buffy's watching all of this like, what is going on? Xander and Oz show up and they see all this happening. Tapa Rich like turns around and he looks at them and they both like back up like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then Tapa Rich opens like the dimension, the portal to go back to the dimension. He's like, you go into that hole right now, Kathy. March, young lady. And she's like, no, Dad. And then she gets sucked into the black hole.
Yeah.
And Tapa Rich is like, all right, sorry to disturb all of you. And he just jumps into the hole with her.
The look on Buffy's face is like utter like fear and shock. Like she is like lost it at that moment. She's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I wonder if Buffy could beat these demons.
I don't know. They were they were toe to toe. It seemed like they were going off on each other, man.
Yeah, because she's sucking. Okay, because they do the spell and the spell is to reverse the soul sucking because she gets it. She gets Buffy down and starts to like try to suck her soul. But
yeah, dude. And she's like putting her fingers all in her mouth and shit. I was like, God, this is brutal.
And then she thinks she did it, but then it goes the opposite way because Giles and Willow saved her from afar, which leads me back to our season 3 recap of the power rankings.
Yeah.
This is a point for Giles being able to pull this off. But Willow's
Giles is mega powerful.
Yeah.
But and even when Kathy's trying to do the soul sucking, like she gets it reversed and she's like, how did you fucking do that?
Yeah.
And that's when like Tapa
She's like, friends, bitch.
Yeah. But Tapa Rich and Kathy go back to their own dimension. And then it's the next day and Buffy and Willow are redoing Buffy's room. Willow's hanging up a Dingoes Ate My Baby poster.
And posters.
Yeah. Buffy's like, this is so much better. It's going to be so much better. And Willow is now Buffy's roommate. And Willow's like, this is going to be so much better. It's going to be great. I'm happy to leave my situation. I'm happy that your situation got figured out. It's going to be fantastic. And Buffy's like, yeah, it is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to live with you. And Willow goes, hey, you going to finish this? And she takes a bite of Buffy's sandwich that has not been it's just like a clean sandwich. Like Buffy hasn't taken a single bite of it. Yeah. So Willow's like, you going to finish this? Takes a bite of it. And Buffy like gets the zoom in eyes again, like the in Kill Bill, the
yeah, it's from the catch up scene.
Yeah. And that is the episode. Good little fun gag to end on, but my prediction was right.
You were right, man. I saw it, I was like, oh man, it's happening. It's interesting that they were like, yeah, let's have her have a roommate and fight it. Like, they had to figure this out before they plotted the season, you know?
Would you say that Kathy got Scott hoped here?
No. Because she
actually had to fight her.
She didn't just disappear.
Fair.
And they didn't give her too many episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be weird if they did the first episode of the season. It was like, oh, we got this new girl. And they were like, we don't like her. Get 2 episodes in. So I think they were planning it because obviously they had to plan it that way because Willow and Buffy were going to live together. Yeah. Like that's the logical thing. I feel like they would hate living together. I think you could have done this episode with her hating Willow without fighting. You know?
There's always that thing of like, you should be wary of living with your best friend or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, my sister lived with her best friend and it turned out well. I lived with my best friend and it turned out well. Like, I don't know.
No, I never lived with my best friend.
Yeah.
We almost lived together.
Yeah. Well, that's the episode. You got anything else to say about living conditions here, Vance?
Let's see. I think we touched on a lot of stuff.
I mean, I gotta say, the graphics and like the special effects department and even the makeup department really leveled up here. Like the special effects and shit are like a lot better this season.
And the practical effects too are just like, I mean, it's a difference a year and some budget makes, you know?
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Like the fight scenes were good. Like the
fight scenes have been amazing these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, like the stunt doubles aren't as obvious as they have been in past. Mm-hmm. Like, this is good shit, man. I'm liking this so far. This was a good, fun episode.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It's silly, but
it doesn't make much sense.
It's just the logic stuff of like why the demon is pretending to have the same dream that really threw me off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that is it for living conditions. Next episode, Vance, is titled The Harsh Light of Day.
Vampires just on fire protest. Or it's just, I think it's a play on words and Buffy is found out to be a vampire slayer by someone that didn't know.
Like Parker Abrams?
Maybe, or the TA, like some truth comes out about, like that's the harsh light of day. Yeah, is like the truth of like,
the truth is coming out. Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone's established enough yet that it would matter. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this will be a double entendre where it's both of those things where it's like there are vampires in the light of day dying.
If Kathy was still in the show, I would say Kathy finds out.
Well, dude, I mean, my one prediction of Kathy and Xander hooking up, that's out the window.
Yeah, he seemed to show zero interest in her in this episode too.
Yeah. That would have been a fun dynamic. Like if Xander's like, Kathy's really not that bad. Like Xander's hooking up with her and Buffy's like, she's a fucking worst.
You know what? I can understand your prediction because Xander only hooks up with demons and evil people. And she was one. So
yeah.
They baited you into it. Yeah.
But that is it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for listening. Remember, sign up for the Discord. Sign up for our Patreon where we talk about Angel and movies. Follow the Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy if you want to email boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that. If you want to get a shout out.
We have lost it.
Do a little bit of like Gregorian chant ohms for you at the end of the podcast there. And stay tuned next time for when we talk about The Harsh Light of Day.
You took your roommate patrolling with you?
Well, I invited the whole dorm, but she was the only one that could make it.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.